Start recording. Okay, let's minimize that one. And so we have been away for a little while. Last time we were moving the the UI system. We had UI draw and UI update derived from UI system, and we're using virtual calls to separate between the two. And we decided to have a look and see if see if the one pass system with like a read-only flag is better than doing the virtual call thing with two different systems running that we have to write two different versions of the code for, and then have to like hook up complicated things with layout and so on. So the question that we are trying to ask answer from last time is this better? Because we took a copy of it last time, and so if it isn't better, we can always roll it back. But for the time being, we're going to keep going with this, and we'll try and answer that question. As a bit of a warm-up, what we're going to do is we are going to... I know that on your end you added a class for value 128, and I'm also going to make a class for hashing, and just to get that out of the main file. Value 128 and add. Okay, just to clean up a bit, I guess. Hashing helpers.
I can't remember where the hashing helpers section is. Did I move it already?
So you may have already done this. So this may just be warm up for me. But
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I'm trying to find a single place where we actually. It's called the next ID hash.
So
yeah,
we can't take internal get ID, etc., but we can take murmur hash 3. So I'm just going to take that one out. So I think it is just the murmur hash functions and their little helpers. So they can become public, and then if anyone needs to hash some data, they're there for them. So that makes life a little bit easier. Find that. We have it in a couple of places, but not many. I think that's everything. So let's do a quick build and see if that we deleted the region. All right. So we've got this. Maybe switch to this. We'll switch to that maybe later.
I think I'm almost there.
Actually, while we're doing cleanup, I think I will. Excuse me. In fact, switch to that.
Switch to what? I'm not listening. I'm not looking at your screen.
That's okay. I'm just investigating whether that's actually a sensible thing to do at this point. Yeah, okay. I think we will. So, are you done with...
done with hashing the murmur hash and the murmur hash methods.
Okay, I think that's it. So, I've got this resources class sitting here with a to-do, maybe switch to this. So I'm also going to go ahead and implement that real quick. And so it's got the font and the white pixel. That just seems like a sensible thing to do now, and then we don't have to go around passing that into like UI system and stuff.
I mean, it's still an ambient thing we're doing there, but I guess we don't really care.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we don't even need a file for that. Can I get quick replace white pixel with replace all? See what this breaks. Replace all. Use interface can. What? Oh, okay. That's better. And then UI system doesn't need any constructor because it's just going to get static data because that's all coming from sort of the global resources system. So I can remove all of that data from the thing because we know it's always going to be the same. Someone had ignore case switched on when they did that. All right, so and then that's builds again. So that's a quick little change. I haven't even made static methods for that. Although find and replace all is always a dangerous thing because you get strings, you get all kinds of fun. Let's try that again. Okay. Excuse me.
Only thing I wonder about is doing something like this.
Oh yes. Generally no, for like the same reason that we reach into it and grab out and use the resources. It's not really a big deal to also grab in and load them. You know, sort of just.
And we're already committing the sin. Why bother?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the only reason you do that, and it's a perfectly valid reason, that is just to keep the loading code near the list of resources. So if there was like 50 things in this class, you know, I may actually go and do that, and I might even separate out. It's like, here's load textures, and here's load fonts, and so on. If it got to that level, just to break things up a bit, but for two things at the moment, yeah, not gonna be too fast.
Right. Okay. I think I'm up. I think I'm caught up now.
So that was the warm up. So what we were going to do now is, now we've got this and we've nicely got rid of a whole bunch of lines of code too, which is pleasant. So this is almost fitting on a screen with all the methods collapsed, which is always nice. We are going to we were actually going to reorganize the layout of this thing as well. So I'm just going to grab like the constructor and move it up to the top, and just do a bit of reorganization. Hashing helpers. Move that down here. So I'm just painting with the code, making it sort of make a little bit of sense in order. Current line, where does that get used? Draw entry. Okay. All right, that seems fine. Because obviously we sort of cobbled that together from both classes, so it was in a bit of a state of disarray. So I think, yes, you might actually want to zoom your IDE up about 1 or 2 clicks here, because it's really struggling to read it. So anyone watching along is going to be squinting. So getting on to the meat of what we wanted to do today. Now we've got everything sort of neatly stashed away, is we want to implement hovering. So because we commented that out, I believe in, where did we do it? Was it draw? Yes. So excuse me, I've got this bad cough. In draw entry, we were just finding out what the hover index was, and I think we completely got rid of hover index. No, we're still calculating the hover index, and so we just need to figure out how to draw it. But what I want to do is, now that we have the layout as we're updating items, we should be able to Jesus. We should be able to implement hovering in such a way that if we hover over like an entire word, like over here, we're not hovering. You can see down here that our actual hover index set is changing because we were hovering over the entire line, but we should be able to, now that we have the layout in the same place that we're doing the update, we should be able to do the hovering in such a way that we are able to hover just over the exact border of the text that we're drawing. So that's the plan.
Okay. Although,
yes,
arguably, not having to move your mouse directly over a section in some UI layouts and some menus, like a options menu or something, what we're doing now might actually be preferable to that more. If you think about it, like,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. Just like, is this where we have to start thinking about options or some kind of configurability, or are we not there yet?
I know. I think that's a really good idea. But if we were going to do that, sort of, you'd want to do that in a way that it wasn't hacked in. I think, like, the thing that we were doing before, and I mean, it's still doing, is we've just chucked it together here. And in fact, we've done it in a place that we can't get access to the width of the item at all. And so if we were to expand the system out, like to have, like, say a button next to the slider that we could click, and we'd want to click on either side to bump it up, or on the thing in the middle to slide it around. In that case, like, obviously the whole line thing wouldn't work. So what we'd want to do is contract it down so that you can hover over a specific area, and then change the way that menu items are handled to hover over that specific menu item. And then obviously you can imagine if this menu were in like a window or something, that you could grab the main menu and like drag it around. You'd only want to have it hover over like the entire width of the menu.
Right.
So if I was sort of, you can imagine this is like the menu, and I'd want to hover over here, but maybe if I'm clicking on something over here, I wouldn't want to hover over the menu.
Of course.
So that's sort of the gist of the idea. So like the idea is good, but sort of to implement it well, we have to sort of implement the more specific version.
Right, that makes sense.
So this is the part where I'm going to essentially hand it over to you and say, right, if we want to hover over the area of an item, how are we going to do it?
Well, we kind of had that before. Like I mean, the idea was to draw. Like previously, we ended up drawing a different color around the rectangle of the entire item, which we pulled from the positional data from in draw entry. We've got the measure string, so we had the size, and we used that size in the draw call, and we drew the specific like, you know, I'll just see if what that does now. Like I just
Yeah.
I guess this won't work, right? Because I mean it's broken, but let's see how yeah, it's super broken.
It is very broken. So in fact, that I've just figured out. I think. Yeah, the way we're doing it is not going to work very well, but we can sort of fudge it in. If hover index equals current line, so we could do it this way. But you'll recall that I was saying that we've done it on a line-based index system, but what we may actually want to do it is have it on a rather than doing a hover index, we want to do hover as like hover hash, same as we're doing focus. Because if we do what I just wrote there, and I think you've done the same thing, I think you'll find that it's
skews.
Got the problem with we can hover over the titles, but we're only counting the clickable items, or sorry, the focusable items within the index.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. So I mean, I'm glad we got that draw code doing something, but now the question is, let's
hover hash.
Yeah,
it's an interesting problem. This is a hash. Are we using this anywhere?
Oh yeah. So that's telling us what we're focused on.
Right.
So the interesting thing is, if you look at end, what the focus index is doing is it is allowing us to click up and down and skip over non-focusable items.
Right.
The actual focusing is done by the hash, and then when we go to determine what is focused, so in item, we're checking against the focus, and then calling draw entry. So it's kind of like focus index is feeding into end, and then the focus hash is feeding into the items and also the draw entry, because it is feeding into adding these things. So doing this by index, I'm not sure I'm explaining this well enough, but like the way the data is flowing, it's sort of the wrong way around.
So we got to do it by a hash.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
we don't have to.
I'm not following that well, but
so
doing that here.
So if you separate out end from these things, like end happens once at the end, once we have everything updated and drawn, but once we reach end, we've got everything updated and drawn. We don't have an option to go back to it. And so the reason focus index exists is just letting us skip over items. Otherwise, we just use the focus hash all the time.
Right.
Whereas, and it sort of lets us skip forward as well, because we want to press, the down arrow and go to the next item, which over here hasn't appeared yet in the stream of calls. But all throughout here, if we're reading what is focused, we're doing it by hash, because it's coming from the previous frame.
Right.
So that's roughly the thought process there. I mean, I guess we may even not have to do it. We might not have to store anything as such, because as we draw it, we know its bounds and we know whether it's hovered. So that's one thought, is that we don't need to store anything. And that seems like a bonus of the doing both things in parallel too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, we already have the focus for the caret right here.
Yep.
And we have the position and the size of the box.
Mm-hmm.
It's having to translate the position and size, or that's the of this entry, but the mouse position, where are we grabbing that? Anywhere? I guess somewhere around here. I thought we were doing that.
So the thing is, because of the old system, we were doing that in end. So we'd actually kind of using this label counts thing to figure out where all the labels were, I think. So this is actually kind of dodgy. Like this is not a good system.
Should delete it then.
I feel like it's kind of hard to describe why it's a bad system. But let's not delete it, but let's comment it out for now. And I'm going to comment out this thing, although we can now just copy this when we want to highlight an item. And anything that doesn't use, I'm also going to comment out. So label counts, I think it doesn't get used. And hover index and label so far doesn't get used. So you can see I'm immediately liking this system because I can see now, and we have to delete this line that was sort of just our debug line for it as well. I'm sort of getting to see now that to do this thing we were doing, we can do it without storing any data, which, you know, seems like a bonus. So I'm going to have to, now I've done this, I'm going to have to go through this code and search for, you know, /* and delete all the occurrences of it. But
oh, you commented out labels so far?
Yeah, so labels count, labels so far, hover index, labels so far, labels count. I think that was the data that I got rid of. And then everything, basically everything that used it, I commented that out as well. And I think it runs. Yeah, and so we still have our menu and then nothing is hovering. And the reason I've done that is because I can see this really simple way to get pretty much exactly the effect we want without storing any data. So I mean, without adding those back, I'm going to hand it to you and say, you know, can we just implement hovering over a thing and highlighting it straight up?
Probably. I mean, yes, because you already know that you can. So, I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I mean, at the time, like I said, we have the caret thing for the focus, but the focus isn't necessarily, like, we're not actually combining those two systems yet. Like, we're not focusing by clicking or something. So, we do need a mouse position, right? Like, we can't get away with that.
Yeah. So I think we had that in end. So what we were doing here, we were just grabbing input.mouse position and being like, that's our mouse position. And then we did the rough and ready check of like, where is the mouse relative to the items?
Well, we have to have something to compare. We have to have whether the mouse position is inside a region, and we have to know whether the region is in the region of the entry that we're drawing, and then just draw it, right?
Pretty much.
So I think we probably still want size and position, because we need those to draw the thing. And then we just have to say, okay, I guess we have to do a bounds check. I don't know if that code we commented out was worth stealing for the bounds check.
I mean, we could.
You're going to do it in rectangle version? Or
yeah, so the only thing I will say about that is there is always the option of doing the rectangle version. It's got this unpleasant property. This is why we had In fact, did we have it? I think we must have had it in River City. It was like a floating. Because I know that very little of River City was floating point, but usually in these things I write a AABB thing that is basically
Yeah, we
rectangle
had
but for
that.
floating point.
Yeah, that's in Pixel 3D. We have an AABB.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember.
Don't worry, it was a fixed point. Yeah, it was a pixel-based AABB. But
Yeah, because I know that I do a floating point one usually just to get all the nice things of rectangle with floating points. So not constantly converting, because obviously these two are vector 2. That's why I don't like var too much, because it's like I know I want to read the type. I want to see this type.
yeah, the one in FNA is like vector 3, so it's not really useful.
Oh yeah. So I don't use bounding box because I want a 2D one. We won't get into the nasty business of writing that now.
Let's make we'll just make it fake here or whatever. Size is the right choice here, but
Well, you can see from the.
well, I mean, they're not. None of them are floats. I mean, or actually, they are. Oh no, X. What's the X?
None of them are
none of them are integers. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to do this nasty casting. So we'll do the thing that we do, and it's like, all right, this is a thing that really needs to be addressed, but not now. So it's to do. Write a floating point class. No such luck with rectangle F. No. All right.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, so this is the region that contains the entry,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess we just contains ref, or they don't have position in here. I have to use point. Okay, fun.
Yeah. Well, point is.
Oh, that's as
2D.
Pardon?
Point is integer.
Right.
Vector 2, basically.
Right. We used to have that nice as point extension on.
Yeah. Well, position is sort of the same thing. It's like, I want an integer vector 3, so I will write one.
Right. For now, let's nasty cast it. Is that what you're saying?
I've gone ahead and given the answer on my screen. Let's just delete that real quick, because that's obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
Oh shoot! The most position is a point. Derp.
Position is the position of the thing that we're drawing.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get when I start this at 8 at night after a nap. Okay. Anyway.
And
Yeah.
Okay,
just... so if draw, I'll just steal that guy here and delete all the crap code. I think that'll do it. Let's just find out. Whoa, boom.
Oh.
I did something
Oh
wrong.
my.
Oh no, did I accidentally change the fabric of the internet? That's what happened. That's what happens sometimes when you use the fancy tool. It's like you press Alt Enter and it's like, oh yeah, I'll happily cast the entire FNA framework too.
All right. Do you want me to just cover your screen while you run Git for a moment?
Oh no, it's fine. I think I might have gotten it now. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
This is brutal.
I don't think I've ever accidentally done that, but it's always sort of slightly in the back of my mind.
That's the.
What on earth did you do?
I just made vector 2 take integers. Oh no.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to cover your screen, so
okay. Yeah,
so
I gotta do.
quite free to do that without worrying about leaking stuff.
All right.
Yeah, just thank goodness for Git. Just revert that sucker. You do have FNA in. You're pulling that.
I do.
It has a revert button on it.
Yeah, I didn't do it for my master FNA across all my projects, thankfully. Although,
Yeah, usually I just like
I,
copy the folder, like it's not even in
right.
Git.
I
Um,
think mine's a sub. I mean, well, the FNA template's a sub module, so I'm pretty sure that this one is a sub module too. Just have to
that's all right.
figure out what sort of insanity I just did. I don't
Uh,
know. It's not letting me. It's not letting me commit. It seems like I might have made a fatal error here. My UI coaching project is not necessarily in Git at the moment, so I will need to. I will need to find an. Oh, I'll just copy an FNA from the template that
yeah,
I.
I feel like it's just copy paste. Just yeah, just nuke it
Here we
and
go.
put in a working one. uh,
Wow. I don't know how that was possible to cause that much damage. So I've never done that before, so there's that anyway.
if you were
Um,
to like right click on the FNA folder and just like read only, I guess you want the build directories read write, but I wonder if
yeah.
that would help. All right, are you fixed? Can I pull back the
No,
screen?
not yet.
All right,
No,
okay.
no. There's all kinds of insanity happening now. I'm getting weird. Oh
uh,
no, okay, we're good. We're good. We're
all
good.
right,
Okay.
okay. Let's try that again.
Oh man. Okay, so what were we doing?
We were running it. We
Oh
were
yeah,
done.
pressing play. Right.
And so
Yeah.
this is where we're at.
Perfect.
So already you can see that that's a vast improvement because we've done that without having to like store a whole bunch of stuff and calculate offsets, and we've vastly simplified that code. So I'm quite pleased with that. However, it does have the issue that we can hover on main menu, and I mean this technically is drawing something here, but well, actually I guess it's not, but it's trying to draw something in these gaps. Um,
Right, but we have the data to fix that, right? We just don't.
We do. So let's let's add that now. Let's make it so you can't hover on the main menu text, the label.
Right. Well, for that we need right now we're using the. Are we still using the hover or the focus index is the thing that's getting us through there in end, right? So we have to come up with. Oh, but focus is a hash. Um.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna start deleting the stuff I commented out before too, just as we go.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That'll give me some time. That'll give my brain some time to vamp
Oh yeah,
the
that's good stuff.
issue. I mean, we just have to grab. We just have to get the we need the differentiator stuff, the stuff that's telling the system whether you can focus on something. Whatever we're doing for
Yeah,
that, we can steal to say if you can't focus on it, don't draw it.
exactly. That's makes life pretty easy.
That's the power of the immediate mode, I guess. Right.
So I mean,
Insert.
well, can you tell me what that differentiator is?
Well, basically, I mean, I guess the
Yes,
simplest way
I
to
think
say
you
it
can get
is.
rid of that debugger break there. I don't know what that's doing.
Oh, okay.
I saw
I
you.
think the Yeah, I debated. The simplest maybe way for me to say it is that the immediate mode UI is essentially stateless. I don't want to say that it's stateless completely, but the fact is that you're the two things, right? You're building up the drawing representation of it at the same time as you're building up the state that you use. So because you're building the state every time, that's what I mean by stateless. Like you're
Exactly.
creating what you need to present it at the time that you're invoking it. So there's no need to basically do like all the stuff that we just deleted was a bunch of, mutation coordination or whatever, like trying to mangle state so that you can remember where you were or it can remember like what data there is. But that all just kind of becomes irrelevant. Like it's not necessary, I guess.
Yes. The way I would describe it is, yeah, you have you get the choice. It's like does this need to be stored state? No, it doesn't. So we won't store it. Whereas like and even just the way we were doing before, we were separating out update and draw. It's like, well, you have to store this stuff and pass it around and keep track of it and keep it up to date and all that stuff. But it's like any data that you don't need to remember, you can just forget, because you just use it at the call site in the main menu thing, and then if you don't need it anymore, it goes away. And most of it, almost all of it, can go away.
Yeah, and also like, the state's being kind of built. It's very ephemeral, right? It's just being built for what it's used for, and then so I guess you get the benefit also of not. Well, that's actually, I wonder about that. Like, I was thinking, well, you don't get you have the benefit of not allocating much of anything. But
Yes.
maybe does it cause? I mean, it wouldn't cause GC pressure, right? Because we're not really actually disposing anything. We're just kind of grabbing stuff on the stack or whatever.
It's all on the stack, and we were very careful to use this UI buffer clear append, so that we're not actually allocating heap objects whenever we draw something.
Right.
So we did put the work we need to in the wonder that is C# for allocating. But I mean, you have that same issue in C++ a lot of the time anyway. It's like if you'd be doing this in C++. It's just that code would look slightly different.
Right.
But
okay. Yeah.
Lost it. Anyway, so what were we doing? We were
we're in draw entry trying to use.
So we just need to make sure that this one doesn't get a hover. So
pretty much, and it's coming in default ID. I mean, it might be that simple. I guess we could just like not do this if the ID's default.
Well,
call it a day.
I guess that sort of that's a good thing to us. It's like so what that means is the code has let us discover something as the people writing it, which is always an interesting thing. It's like, oh, anything that has an ID of 0 is not selectable.
That's right.
And
We
so
know,
anything
I mean,
that's not
that's
selectable.
our sentinel value. That's the sentinel value we have for non-active elements. Right?
Exactly. Let's give it a go. If ID and did we write the equality operator for this? I'd love to do equals 0, but nah.
C# 7.1, you can just say default, but
Yeah, that's quite
Not
nice.
sure what-
I'm so torn between do I upgrade and deal with the rigmarole of upgrading and having to not use 2010.
I don't know. It's a slippery slope, though. You might end up like me, and you might need a new computer
Yes.
to run. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I don't actually know. I'd like to spend some time figuring out if that's
I've got the
syntactic.
condition backwards.
I'd like to know if that's syntactic sugar, the default. I mean, some of this stuff is, right? It's just less typing.
Oh, that is absolutely syntactic sugar. There's no difference between writing this and just writing default. So it's like, we know the type. That's not that exciting. Yeah, that looks
think
pretty good.
That's the thing.
So now we have a nice hover. How are we for time? We've still got a little bit of time. So
Do you want to do focus on click? Is that what you're?
well, I was going to say activate on click. So let's.
Well, it does two things, right? I mean, oh, I see what you're saying. So you want.
Yeah,
That makes way more sense. Yeah, I mean, right. You want to actually do the thing. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So we'll have to think about how keyboard and mouse focus actually interact. It's like, how do we detect that the mouse is not in use so we can start using the keyboard and the mouse is back.
Is this gonna be local only?
So
I guess we're not in scope for that yet.
yeah, so that's going to be the next thing. Once we get this working, just as a sort of general UI, we'll go back and tear it all out and do it in such a way that it's entirely event driven without mouse coordinates. So essentially entirely keyboard driven,
Right.
even though we'll have mouse support. So that's sort of a
Right.
tricky
Just
challenge.
virtualizing mouse into events. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
So we'll write that
That's
on top. So what we'll then do will
okay.
be like if that contains, and we'll probably do something like and is mouse a thing or something, rather than tearing the code out. We'll make it a toggle perhaps.
Right. You're referring to like the player button type of concept where we're using like a flag or a list of or enumeration that is basically the messages that we send.
So we basically send in a bit field of like here's all the bits for all the buttons the player has held down.
Right. Cool.
Yes. So
okay, well, in the meantime, sorry, what are we doing now?
Okay,
What's our
so
next
we'll ignore checkbox and slider for now. I mean, checkbox is almost the same thing as item anyway. But so just item, we want it to say when we click kick player or we click one of these other ones that's like if item, item exit. So when we want this to return true when the user clicks the button.
Right.
And I think just to make it quick today, we'll have it so that we'll respond on mouse down, but eventually we'll probably want to respond on mouse up.
Right.
Because you know that thing that you do in like Windows where you like click on the thing and then drag off it, and it's like cancel the click.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's annoying.
So we'll do that.
Okay. Well, I just did the cheese thing just now.
Well, that's not going to work.
Well, hold on while I think about why.
But it's a good start. Like that's where it returns true. So.
Oh, right. Because I'm not focusing first, so there's no right. I just have to do it in its own scope. Hold on. Do I care about? I do. Do I care about whether the ID is default or not in here or not?
No,
because it's always internal. Yeah, I'm guaranteed to get a non. Yeah, I'm in an active. Right. Because I'm doing immediate mode. I know where I am. I'm in an item. I know an item is not a label. Therefore, I'm active. Therefore, I know that I'm grabbing the internal ID and I don't have to check. Yeah, all the data that I need to make a decision is right in front of me. So cool.
And this is a large part of why we sucked draw entry out. I remember we were talking about how we made the code. I said more leafy, I believe. So that was that reorganization. So labels all the way off the path of item now, and it was probably it was a bit of a mistake to do it that way, but also you just write some code and then it's like, oh, this is a bad way of doing it, so you have to go back and rewrite it.
Right.
But because the code is so simple, rewriting it is actually quite cheap.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
Just see how it applies. I thought I might need an else, but that'll make it even worse because then it'll ignore any time we happen to be focused on the thing that we're going to click on. So I think it's cheap enough, so let's do it, I guess.
Interestingly, you've got items.add inside this isReadOnly thing, which is interesting. But
I shouldn't. I think it's not read-only. I mean, it's mutating state to add anything to the list.
So yeah, that seems reasonable. I think the reason that I had it, I was like, it doesn't really matter because I was like, we'll never serialize that array.
Oh right.
Was sort of loosely the plan that I had, but so I don't think it makes a difference either way.
Okay, I've got a bug.
Yes, you do. I know exactly what the bug is.
It doesn't care about me or anybody. If I click on if I try to do anything at all, it goes to exit, I think.
Yep. So just carefully read the code that you have written that sets the result to true.
Oh, is down. Well, that's lame. No, it's supposed to be went down.
You can try that.
I can I? Well, is down doesn't. I mean, that's like any kind of drag as opposed to a single event. Um, but yeah, no, this is absolutely
I mean, went down is probably better because that gets the click uh, sort of we get the click
right.
rather than you won't be able to like click on something by clicking the mouse off it and then dragging over. It's like, oh, the left
Right.
mouse
Yeah,
is
that's
still
kind of a
down.
nice to have.
Yeah.
What on earth? What? Okay, I got to think of this. Like I'm drawing. So I'm in the update in the item. Oh, wait a minute. In the item, I'm doing the update. I want to invoke the trueness because my mouse went down, but I'm not at all considering it at all the position, right? I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm just like, if you press your button down, I don't care. Just you're done.
Yeah, we've clicked everything at
Wow,
once. It's great.
lame. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty brutal. Okay, so I need a hit test in this guy. And I have my ID, so it's the same code as we had before. Um, so maybe I need to hoist that out of draw. Not sure though. Let me just check it. Um, well, the position comes from current line. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. Well, for now, I'm gonna. What am I gonna do here? Am I gonna steal this code? I think I'm gonna steal this code for now. Let me flail, damn it.
That's all right.
So yeah, I'm gonna take this code, and then use if it went down, and I'll do the hit test. So the well, where's the? Sorry, I lost the contains. I need my fake counting box of ruiny thing. If it contains the mouse position. Yeah, this is just dying to be turned into a method here, but I'm gonna run this little snippet just to see if
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
the question is whether the current line knows which line it's on. It does. Man.
Are we winning?
Yeah, we're winning.
Nice.
So where should I put this code? Because this code is no longer relevant just for drawing. It's now kind of part of the now it needs to be part of the sort of global concept.
So basically, well, I'm gonna ask you to solve that problem, but I will say two things. One is obviously we need to get the layout earlier than it's occurring here, because this is where we get the layout.
Mhm.
And also, it's worth thinking about this current line business because now, like this draw entry method has a side effect. It's like it increments the current line. So we have this sort of ordering question. It's like if we do it here, we get one result, but if we were to do it here, we get a different result because the current line has changed. Like
Yeah, well, it'll never.
back.
Yeah.
And so that's
Okay.
sort of like a understandability thing that you want to sort of keep as simple as possible. So that's sort of the constraints we're looking at. So
Well, I mean, we've done this before. I mean, I wasn't a fan of it then either, but one thing we could do is pull the current line out of draw entry and then like put it at the end of each of the methods it uses. But right now, there's no reason to do that because each time we wanted to do that. So I don't know. For now, I'm just gonna write a Yankee thing for this guy. I don't. The name thing is hard, but
contains mouse.
oh yeah, and yeah, the input to it is the text, I guess. Is it called again? Multi-string. And then this guy is gonna be contains mouse text. Contains mouse, eh? Whatever. Okay, so then yeah, and then I'll use that. I don't know where to put this code exactly, but I use the same concept here. I just have to say mouse text. Delete all of this junk. Oh, not quite. Need the position and the size probably. Yeah.
So you've hit on an interesting thing here, and that is now you're calculating the position and the size of the text 1, 2, 3 times per call. So I mean,
yeah, that's the layout information you're talking about. That's the layout information that we want to do once.
Yes. So I mean, it works. Like, it's a good start.
Yeah.
But can we do better?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, are we going to retain the state of the like this information is happening like line by line. But yeah. So where's the best place to retain the layout information in between clicks? Like item. I mean, maybe it's draw entry, and we just change the order. No, no, because draw entry relies on. No, it doesn't. It's independent. So we could do that. Is that a bad idea? Like, if we take the contains mouse thing, we like pull out these 2 bits. Well, I don't know. No, I don't like that either. I don't want to override information in a global state that pertains to one item, though. So yeah, maybe we just put this back into draw entry and then draw stuff before we update it. No, that doesn't make sense. We wanna do a thing and then draw the result. Like,
yeah, you're sort of on the right track, and the thing to think about is, like, you're right when you say we don't want to retain any global state, and so the way to think about it is the state that we are retaining is just on the stack. So we can stick it on the stack, keep it around as long as we want, and then it goes away, and it only sticks around as long as we need it.
So I guess we could add it to draw entry is one possibility.
Yeah, you could pass it into draw entry,
and then that way. But then I guess then every single thing has to, like, we'll need to compute it like in every. It's kind of crap, but
well, it's not ideal in, I think, any case. Like,
it's another way of saying that it's crap. It's universally unideal. Okay.
Certainly. Well, all of the possibilities that that you've listed and that I've thought of have some downside to it. This is quite nice. This contains mouse text, because you can just call it anywhere and it works up until you call draw entry. However, it has
unnecessary.
It has the downside that you're calling it again and again. If you pass it into draw entry, then you've got sort of this weird data like dependencies. It just feels a bit odd to pass it into draw entry. And also then you have to like figure out what format the data is going to be in and so on. Like, I mean, do you pass in a rectangle and then just draw it off the rectangle here, or what?
Right.
But there is another way of doing that, and that is you could calculate it in draw entry and pass it out, which may be the best thing to do because draw entry is actually changing the text that gets drawn.
Yeah, that's all. That also doesn't feel right, but
Um,
but I guess it's okay because it's display only.
well, exactly. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh, okay. That actually works pretty well. Yeah. I don't mind that. Other than we'd have to make the is not read only check twice, right? Because we'd have to like if we knew we were getting our layout data, if we're making a little struct to
yeah,
contain our position and size, then we pull the layout out of draw entry, but then we'll have to like do this again to make sure that we don't screw anything with this guy, right?
just typing this layout equals draw entry. I like this. This actually looks good. It's like we've drawn it. What was the layout? Tell me the layout that you drew. This feels
Right.
good.
Okay.
And if I may, you there is one thing about this, and I haven't completely checked that it would work, but you don't need to do is read only twice. You could just do this.
Right. But aren't there? I mean, I guess it's on a because we're in control of the code. It's like um, on a per sort of UI feature like item basis. But the idea would be like, what like are we not prematurely drawing something before we've had a chance to mutate it presentationally? Like if like maybe this thing goes red if you pressed space while hovered over it. The layout is like we're gonna draw it before we have a chance to like. I guess this is like introducing one of those ordering problems of the update and the draw, right? Like I'll get the red color maybe on the next tick or something, but I'm gonna miss this went down event
Yeah.
if this went down event makes the draw entry red. But I guess this is on a case by case basis. If we knew that item needed that, then we would just rearrange the code, right? And
Yeah, I
who
mean, you just
cares?
do it above the layout, and sort
Right.
of you've identified like the challenge with the immediate mode UI system, and that is um, what um, what is the ordering of operations, and how do you manage that such that um, you're not introducing a frame of lag, basically. It's a very game
Right.
programmery sort of thing. It's like, how do I order these things so that what ends up on screen is the freshest information?
Yeah, well, that's just, I mean, I'd be worried, I guess, of accidentally forcing myself to run the tick twice. That's the issue. It's like if I really need that at that time, like, I know that I can pass. I mean, I could always run it again.
Hmm.
It's a question of whether the thing, like even in the menu, like if the return true does something, like in the user code that changes the presentation of future items. It's like, do we have to have some kind of like, oh crap, invalidate everything and do it again? But then that sounds kind of horrible. But anyway, in this case, it's not a problem.
Well,
So
think about our thing here, our removing players.
yeah,
When you click to remove it, it's going to draw that entry for one more frame.
it is. Yeah,
And
kind
you,
of.
to a certain extent, you just have to accept that. So, one thing that I could say we could do is like, well, if sorry, input dot mouse went down, color dot red, otherwise,
Right.
and that's an interesting thing that you could do. It's like, oh, now we have, not only do we have this hover color, we've also got this activation color.
Hmm.
So that's sort of a design way to work around. It's like, oh, you clicked that, and the click, at least, as far as the user is concerned, they get that instant feedback that the click happened, even though the side effect happens the next frame. Or sorry,
Right.
not the side effect, the I guess effect, the main effect.
Right. Okay. I mean, I can live with that. I think they're yeah. I think they're I don't know if I'm convinced yet. There's not a situation where we'd like be forced to
So that's
do
the
it
other thing.
twice.
That's the other thing I was going to say. I think that going down that line of thinking is like planning for things that haven't happened.
Right. Which
So
isn't, which is kind of like cart before horse in a way.
yeah, it's like you should quickly run through the possibilities and see if there's any major hurdles, because I mean we just did that. It's like, oh, if we do it this way, we're going to run into this big problem later. But if you're running through that process, like, maybe the code might do this obscure thing in the future, I'm not sure. Like that's the point where it's like,
Over
oh,
design, yeah.
yeah, you
That's
sort of put that down and be like, all right. So what have we got? Layout, private struct layout is. So, and I mean, and for now, public vector 2 size. Do that. That'll do.
Oh yeah, you're doing it probably better than myself.
Yeah,
I
I just sort of jumped ahead and was like, oh, I can reduce the amount of code here.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I changed the contains mouse already though to take the layout object, or sorry, the
Well,
struct.
you know what we could do? Why make that
Oh
setting?
yeah, you
Why
could.
we
Yeah,
planes
yeah,
mouse?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now, and I've just moved layout down to where it gets sort of used down in drawer entry too.
Yeah.
So we don't need to set the size of position, we just, because we have it, and we can just do that. And now, because I think this is pretty good, layout contains mouse, and then we don't have to pass in text, we don't have to recalculate the size, so we're saving a lot of processing time, which is always good. So
Grab your.
we could
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
layout dot contains mouse. So this code is looking much better now. So you're with plain structs. You remember my trick that I think I've told you. You just no constructor, and it will warn you if you leave any fields uninitialized.
Yeah, I remember that. You're right. I don't use that, but I should absolutely. There we go.
Okay, and so while we're actually we'll run it first. But now that we have this nice contains math method, this is essentially an AABB. Like, so we won't call it that now because we might want to add some stuff to the layout struct later. But
There's one.
What about?
Yeah. This doesn't. This is supposed to be sized.
Yeah.
There you go. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked right
Caught a
away.
bug already.
Immediate feedback
Payoff,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm good.
All right. Let's actually I'll save that for next time. But let's run this and see if we got build errors. Inconsistent accessibility. All right. So actually, why is that public?
I didn't get that bug.
Oh yeah, I just had that method was public, and so.
Oh okay.
So this seems to be working just perfectly.
Pop.
Now, the question is now, can we hover over main menu, which was the sort of.
No.
Sweet. And so now we have foo and my value, the slider, to consider. So we could very quickly. I'll finish off with that. I think we are actually over time, but I feel like we could at least do checkbox because that one's trivial to just copy paste this. So just go that. And now we get the drawer entry. Gives us the layout. And in theory, that's checkbox. So
Yeah.
there is one important thing to do there, and that is you did the thing I almost did, and that is copy paste draw entry. Whereas you see this working buffer, you've actually deleted some code that we had.
Oh. Oh, it's down here now.
So yeah, so you still need that code, but you actually need to draw it.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah, this is I guess this is the one sticky part of having them both in the same system is you can't do anything mindlessly.
So
Well, I guess you shouldn't anyway.
see the thing we're
Okay.
wiggling over?
Where's the checkbox?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as in that's the
Whoops.
bug.
Is this the bug? It's a trivial bug. It's just a
Oh, text versus
copy. It's a copy paste bug.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure there's actually been a study of this, and like, some massive percentage of bugs are like essentially copy paste bugs. What was that? That was unusual.
777. Oh,
No, that's normal. So it still works, and now I can check and uncheck our box.
I didn't see.
The little frame flash is happening so fast that I don't seem to be able to see it in some cases. So perhaps I'm
I don't see the frame. I don't see the frame flash at all.
The
Oh,
little
I didn't
red
write
flash.
the code for that.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
get rid of it
I
because it
didn't
doesn't actually work on my system. But it was a nice little sort of idea.
Well, there's an effects thing too. Like we'll have to like think about that if we want to retain like effects over.
Oh yeah.
Like that's probably a different problem. That's more like having your tweening package.
Like I mean that's
state
definitely
for
something we'll want to consider. It's like maybe we need to keep stuff around slightly longer so we can run effects on it. Yeah. So that was just a copy paste bug. And anyway, we'll leave the other ones till later.
Okay.
And what was it we had to make a note of? Oh yeah, I'm just going to make a note of it. Next time, AABB. All right. I think that's everything for today because we're now running over time. Okay, so thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.